Righto, so for sale is our beloved Dusty, the 2021 Ural Europe. Actually ordered Dusty in April of 2021, and of course global logistics got seriously buggered up by the COVID scare. So she eventually arrived in November. So let's find out what we've got here. Okay, two LED spotties. They do not come on when you switch on the ignition, but the headlamp does. That's standard. And when I flick it to high beam, there you see the spotties come on. Really useful round here at night, I can tell you. We live out in the country, and the nights are like ducking into a bottle of black ink. So those things will light up the next postcode. They're absolutely superb. Driving lights, they're OEM, fitted to the nudge bar, which is also OEM. Now they can turn on even when the ignition's off. If you are off road and it's night time or dark for any reason and you need some light, there it is. I'll show you the switch for that once I've gone right round. Okay, the tonneau cover is pretty much rainproof to start with. The weave on it is very good, but I still spray it with Scotch Guard regularly. You probably don't really need to, but I'm OCD. Luggage rack on the Sidecar wheel guard, that is OEM, as is the shovel, which I've never needed. I have got the bike bogged a couple of times, deliberately more than anything else, to get practice in using a winch. Luggage rack is OEM, as is the spare wheel and the carrier for it, and the cover. There's a big round dome shaped nut that fits here normally. The one I originally had on flew off somewhere on some bouncy dirt tracks, and the whole flipping lot flew off. So I had a bit of a chat with Matt up on top of the hill at Ural, where Ural Australia has its HQ, and he gave me a replacement nut that had been cross-threaded. Otherwise I would have had to buy the entire flipping luggage rack, and I believe the the stowage doohickey for the spare wheel, and that went perfect. Not a problem for months and months and months and months and months. I checked it every time before I got on the bike, and it was as tight as. And I went out on some off-road stuff, and bingo, the flaming thing flew off. I couldn't find it, so I've bodged up a lock for it. Now the nuts and the heads of the the ends of the bolt, I didn't want going through here scratching things up, so I've put the nuts on from the other side, the bolts on from the other side, spring washers and nuts this side, and I've used a little Dremel style tool to cut slots in. So you need a screwdriver, and I think it's an 8mm spanner, which you will find in your toolkit. Okay, the OEM 10 litre jerry can in the OEM holder. These come with rubber pads on them, but I've found that they don't stay on long in hot weather. So what I've done is I've put some strips of vinyl on parts of the jerry can holder, so you don't scratch the bejesus out of the paintwork on the jerry can. Rightio, here we go, is another personal modification on both of the bikes. If I take bolts off, I tend to replace them with stainless. So what happens here is this is how the seat is held in place. You find right up at the flipping top of the wheel arch are two nuts, and you're supposed to get some variety of spanner, socket or whatever on them to undo them. And yeah, actually it's bolts, not nuts, and they screw into the underside of the pillion end of the seat. Up the front behind here you got your battery, but you can't really access it. There's bits and pieces holding it in place, so you can't just slide it out. You've got to take the seat off, and at the front end you should see there's a plate about 2 or 3 millimeters thick, and there's a hole stamped in that plate, and a bolt which is integral with the seat, so you can't take it out without causing damage, goes through a hole in that plate, and there's a 17mm nut goes on this end, up there. I don't think I need to tell you just how much of a pain in the proverbial that is. So what I've done at this end, I've used an angle grinder to cut into that plate that I showed you, and made it a Y shape so that when you put the nut and washer onto that integral bolt under here, you put it at the right height on that bolt, and you slide the pillion seat forwards so that the integral bolt along with your nut and washer go into that Y-shaped opening and sit nice and tight. Okay, at this end I've obviously removed the bolts from under here and there's no way you can do it comfortably, and I've put a couple of aluminium straps which I've also painted black, and the bolts that fit under the guard, which you can't reach, that I've been referring to, are now attached to the other end of those two straps. They're nice and tight, and these fellas go through to under here. Oh, I hope you can see that. i.e. at the easier end of the wheel guard, and they're bolted in here. You can see some vinyl that I've applied to here so that the straps and the heads of the bolts here don't scratch the paint. So yeah, rightio, and to our last little modification. When I first got the bike, it came, as I said, with the driving lights. Come on, focus, you daft flipping phone. That's better. Oh no, I spoke too soon. And the OEM switch is like a rocker switch with a bubble of silicone rubber over the top, which is supposed to moisture proof it. Well, it doesn't. I got it replaced under warranty from Ural. Not a quibble. They replaced it, no argument. So that's one thing I found with them. Their warranty is just absolutely no quibble. Anyway, the replacement one didn't last very long either, we were getting a hell of a lot of rain at the time, so I ordered this fella. I can't remember exactly what it was, 28, 38 bucks or something like that, off of eBay, believe it or not, and it works really well. Now, if I turn on the ignition, yeah, there you go. It's got a built-in LED which tells you where the flipping thing is. At night, I couldn't see the OEM one. I had to fumble around trying to find it, and then figuring out which end was which from the rocker switch. This one, it's there, you can see it. It's not that bright that it'll dazzle you late at night, so ruining your night vision. To me, it's absolutely perfect. Now, the other thing about it, from the factory, the switch is live. Okay, the feed to that switch is live at all times. So just, you'll notice we've got the ignition off, and there. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's actually quite useful. Again, if you need some light at night, you can just flick your driving lights on. There you go. And let's turn the ignition on. So there, you can see the difference from the spotlights on the headlamp assembly. So, mate, she's a good one. She's frugal. 17 k's per litre, with the engine in high revs, and going up through the gearbox, up the Oxley Highway, if you know it. I reckon that's just awesome return for your petrol money. I took her up there to get this replaced. That's an O2 sensor, and it was chucking up a check engine light that I couldn't get rid of. And well, you really don't want to try selling a bike with a check engine light on it. And that was all that was wrong. And Matt, who's the head honcho at Ural Australia HQ, gladly did the work for me. I could have done it myself, but he launched himself into it, as he does. It's the way he is. And I came back with no engine light. Thank God for that. But yeah, 410 k's round trip on this girl in one day. I think that's actually pretty good going. She's a 4 forward gear setup with a reverse gear. This is the reverse gearing gauge lever. It will not work unless you are in first gear or neutral. When you disengage reverse, it will automatically put you into neutral. Here, this is the thing that makes these bikes. This is the two-wheel drive. Now, you do sometimes, and that is happening now, have to push the vehicle forward a little bit to turn a couple of cogs, and it will engage. If you don't know which way's which, there's actually on and off engraved into this mounting bracket. What else can we say about it? Yeah, it's 1 down, 3 up, forward gears, and yeah, I think that's about it. I'll probably find half a dozen things. There's your gear lever down there. It has a kickstart. I haven't used the Kickstarter on this one. I've used it a few times on Swampy. That is a car style alternator, 50 amps. 50 amps. Okay. And here we go, just here, a car type starter motor. The flywheel and starter ring are integral, and they sit in here with your dry clutch. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's what you need to know. Fuel injected. This is the generation 2 fuel injection. So she is incredibly frugal.